Are you finished, guys? Yeah. Is everyone finished or someone else on the course? There's 2, 3, 4 people left.
There was till now never a depth course in Germany, and so we thought it would be much easier to attend if a course would be in Germany, and I thought we could just ask Parkour Generations if they would come here and deliver a course. And yeah, within some days I got an email from Dan Edwards, the director and founder of Parkour Generations, and he said it would be possible, and the conditions looked quite okay, quite achievable, and yeah, so I organized the whole thing.
So I'm one of the tutors of ADAPT. I tutor the courses. I also assess the courses in different aspects. So either I'm traveling to deliver the course itself and somebody else assesses that one, or I'm just chipped in at the end to kind of assess that batch of students and make sure they're up to scratch and that all of the key points of the course itself have been delivered and passed on. So there's kind of a system behind it, and each one's a bit harder and more in depth. So depending on how much you want to coach parkour and how much information you want, there's different levels to it. But yeah, you go as far as you want, I guess.
Adept level 1 means you're an assistant coach, that you can assist a senior coach, and yeah, you in a parkour session you help the senior coach in the training process. And as a level 2 coach, you're a senior coach yourself, and also can teach other people for level 1.
So the ADAPT qualification has been around for about 7 years now. It was created by a lot of the founders of parkour originally. A group of maybe 8 or 9 guys that have been around since the very beginning got together and decided that to kind of preserve the values of parkour in the future, it was important to find out what they appreciated in the practice and what they wanted to see still here in 10 years' time and 20 years' time. So the qualification was created to allow a collection of coaching techniques and coaching values of parkour to be brought together, so they can be then passed on to other people and people that are coming into parkour who want to be coaches and don't really know where to start.
For me, the main challenge was to get enough people. So there's 18 spots in one course, but you need 12 people for that they deliver a course. And I was afraid that there wouldn't come enough people. So I sent an email to every parkour group in Germany I found. And I think within 2 weeks, every spot in the course was full.
So there's always different challenges on the level 1 and level 2 courses. Usually it's to do with just cultural differences in the countries, wherever you go to. So one of the things I noticed on this course was that people were reluctant sometimes to give feedback to each other, in the beginning at least. Maybe because it was a lot of new people who hadn't met before. Maybe it's to do with the culture, but there wasn't a lot of feedback to each other. Nobody wanted to say this was really good or that was really bad when it came to their coaching sessions. So, but after a day or two, people opened up a lot more, and they realized that the more feedback they can give to other people, the more they'll also get back. So it'll help them improve as coaches as they get more feedback about things they could improve, things that were really good and worked well. So it took a couple of days, but that opened up a lot more, and that was probably the biggest challenge on this course.
So in both times, it's very important to have a good standing and to try to catch him with his shoulder.
Doing the same thing, but backwards. Okay, so we are pushing our feet up and pushing ourselves back. Feet up, back. Okay.
A little bit faster, 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 and not as fast as you can.
We talk a lot about the spirit of parkour and the values behind parkour in the ADAPT course as well. Things like the community is a really big part of parkour and that kind of sharing aspect. I mean, you can talk to someone halfway across the world and say, I'm coming to town, I want to train a little bit, can you show me around? And they'll be like, yeah, sure, but come and stay at my place too, and I'll show you where the best restaurant is. And there's a really nice connection around the world, and you can go and stay anywhere in almost any country in the world and find parkour people and have that connection with them. So that's one of the big values in parkour that I think is very cool. It's quite unique to the practice, I think. Other things like being strong to be useful, and in terms of not just going to the gym and running on the treadmill all day, because and watching the TV in the background. Because it doesn't really, yes, it might train the body a little bit, but it's not really training the mind and the spirit at the same time. There's no connection between the brain of like problem solving or facing challenge or exploring or playing and the physical side of what's happening. So I think parkour helps to kind of bring that together and unite the mind and the body.
So I think every practitioner of parkour has like an own philosophy, and everybody puts something of himself into it, and I think it's quite nice, but there are still some essential values and spirits, I think, like that everybody tracer wants to progress, to self-improve himself, and to reach this you have to be disciplined, determined, open-minded, and the whole adapt course kind of reminded me of all these values. So it was in my head all the time, but now it's more present in my head. It reminded me why I like parkour and why I love doing parkour, so it was quite good in this sense.
And yeah, I think that's one of the big values of parkour itself, which is facing challenge, exploration of your environment, kind of reclaiming your environment, because usually in cities you're told to walk this way, don't go down this way, and you're allowed to walk down this way. But parkour is more about creating your own path through an environment, so it really opens the world to possibilities in a lot of ways, and it kind of invites you to investigate and explore and find out where things are and where your city is in relation to others. So it's about exploration and self-knowledge and knowledge of other places and other people.
It's not just about big jumps and what you see in the media. It's more about being honest with yourself, find your own limits.
And it really appeals to people who are not into competitive sports sometimes. I think it's nice for people who don't enjoy team sports or the pressure of team sports, especially at school. I think parkour is much more of an individual practice. It's about you improving as a person, about looking at where you are now, how much you've trained, how much you've put into it, and where you can go with that. So it's kind of about you evolving as a person through hard work, which is the more you put into it, the more you get out, which is great.
Das war ein gutes Hindernis.
As Isa told, it is here nearly
It's not really safe.
impossible to hold him there. It's more like maybe pushing him in the right direction to fall, not straight on the...
Obviously it was. Did you deliberately miss that one?
It wasn't planned.
Okay. Even better. Okay.
1, 2, 1.
So Potsdam, because we live in Potsdam, and this place, because it's kind of a special place for us, we have a special bond to it. Just, I think, 3 or 4 months ago, we opened our parkour park here on the Platte, and so I thought it would be a nice place to have the other coaches here and to train with them, and there are a lot of possibilities to train here.
So I've really enjoyed my time in Potsdam. It's been great. I think I've been just in time to arrive for spring because everything is really green and nice. We've had one day of rain, which was quite cold and wet. I'm used to that from London, so it's okay. But apart from that, it's been beautiful, beautiful weather. Again, everything's been so green and just full of nature. We've spent some time in the local parks, by the palaces. So I've had some time to explore and see the place. It would be a shame not to come back and see it further.
For us, this group in Potsdam was very good because we trained quite isolated for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And now we made some friends in other cities, and that's quite nice. And I think in the course, every of the attendees evolved as a coach and as a tracer. Was nice to see the progress of every attendee through the 3 days of the course.
Roll carrying. Roll carrying. I will say when we have to stop, okay?
Also the other direction. Stretch, grab them over the top of the tree.
The last line, we can change again. Okay. so they can get starting with the next one.
Eine Bewegung. Ich darf das versuchen, beide raus. Na, man darf dann die Beine rum und man weggenommen. Und damit muss man versuchen, die Hand von jemandem abzusetzen. Und danach ist dann direkt der nächste dran. So wie es eben passiert ist. Ich habe dich drauf gestanden, habe mich noch gefreut, aber dann ist er ja dran. Man kann auch junge Frauen und da schlagen.
So parkour is really growing now. It's becoming a very big thing around the world internationally. You see it in all the Hollywood movies. There's always kind of the car chase, and there's always the parkour chase as well. So it's becoming a lot more accepted in kind of popular culture. And general day-to-day people that you see walking past in the street, they kind of recognize what you're doing now. And they say, oh, it's parkour, or oh, it's free running, or it's that thing we saw on TV and in the movies. So it's becoming a lot more recognized, which is good to see. And as it grows, there was a time maybe where I was a little bit worried about its growth and where it was going, because there was a lot of people who wanted to change it, had new ideas, or big companies were coming in with a lot of money and trying to change the shape of it and the future of it, to add things that we don't necessarily agree with, like competition or other aspects. But it's been really nice to see the last few years the kind of community has reclaimed parkour in a lot of ways, in the sense that there's a lot more coaching going on now, and there's a lot more passion behind passing it on properly. So there's a lot of coaches internationally who are working together to kind of make sure the values are passed on, and to make sure parkour is preserved in a way that's kind of respectful to its history, I guess. So I'm not so worried about it anymore. I think there's enough coaches around the world doing a good job, enough practitioners training in a really, really positive, good way. So I think it's only going to become bigger and better over time, which is nice to know. And all we can do as Parkour Generations and as Adapt is hopefully push it in the same direction, keep it going that way, because we care about it a lot. We want to see it preserved and growing in a positive way.